All right, high rollers. Wished I could have seen it. Live stream of the Colossus final table. It's what dreams are made of, right? The winner turning a measly $565 into $1,000,000 only in America. More than 18,000 ponied up that 565, including our guest today who managed to navigate the field and make the final table. What a feat. Should have been one of the happiest days of his life, but somehow it turned sour. And now he's quitting the WSOP for good. A Colossus controversy. Our guest today, more than $500K in live tournament earnings. He's won the Sunday Million for $700,000 and came oh so close to a WSOP bracelet the other night. Luke Vrabel, the Prince of Degens, at Slay America on Twitter. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being a high roller today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. My voice is pretty much gone because I've pretty much been ranting for days about this situation, and now I am feeling the effects of it.
Are you outside? Because we got a lot of static happening here.
Yeah, I just walked outside, but I'm walking in right now.
Okay, so you've been ranting and raving about this situation. Before we talk about the Colossus controversy involving yourself, I want to give our listeners a basic rundown of what kind of player you are, your background. I know you've obviously had great success. I know you've blown through some money as well, but you really had a chance this year. Are you a grinder? What kind of player are you?
Well, I always played online tournaments back in the good old days when poker was soft and easy. And then recently I've been dealing with a lot of personal issues. And I wouldn't say that I'm like a grinder to the max like I used to be, but I've tried to re-embrace it recently so I could, rediscover my purpose and passion for the game, I guess you could say. And I've been really trying to do that the last couple of years. Well, mostly this year, honestly, where I finally refound my love for the game and discovered more success than I've had in other years.
You know, I was running down the Hen and Mob database, and your last couple of scores have been big ones. You've got a litany of scores on that database, but your last few have been pretty substantial. And, of course, the 80K from the Colossus, your largest score ever.
I'm thrilled about the score, and I've always struggled in poker. I don't know why. My anxiety in my head, maybe. And it was great to, make a run in a WSOP event for once. But it's too bad that it was ruined by a floor man on a vendetta.
Let's talk about that more. You're obviously upset. I've been running down your Twitter profile, and it's so many tweets over the last couple of days. I mean, you've been on fire on Twitter. You got 9th place in the Colossus. Most people can only dream about that. You win 80K, as mentioned, your largest score. It's an amazing run. You should be over the moon, but that's not the case. Explain to us in detail what happened in this tournament that's got you so riled.
Okay, so with 10 left in the tournament, a big rail had amassed. Everyone was watching, there was tons of people in the room. This floor man, Jason, basically, he's about as unprofessional as you can ever imagine. He cusses at the players. He won't do his job if you ask him to do it. There's a litany of issues that I've read of people with him, but starting with me, he had never given me an issue in the past. Like, I'd seen him around and I've been like, I don't know what this guy's problem is, but he never fucked with me, so I didn't really have a problem with him. At the beginning of the day, I'd asked him, I said, this is very important. There was 41 players left. 36 was a pay jump. We all need to know how many players are left in the tournament. So you ask him that question, you'd think he'd say, oh, sure, no problem. He was instantly combative. He said, I'm freaking busy. Wait till I'm done with this, and then I'll update the clock. So that was the first issue I had with him. The rest of the day went smoothly. I was having the time of my life. Never had this much fun playing poker, live or online. It was a thrill that I can't even describe. I love poker. I love the WSOP. I love playing the WSOP every year. And every year I lose. And this was going to be my freaking moment, Like, in live poker, you only get so many shots. Online, you can fire up 10,000, tournaments a year. In live poker, you're limited to one a day, and you're not going to play every day. So you have very few opportunities, especially to win $1 million. As we got down to 10 players, a bunch of people on the rail had started being a little loud. I was getting distracted by them, so I politely asked Jason, I said, can you please tell these people to be quiet? He said, no problem. He went up to them, he asked them to be quiet, and I thought that would be the end of it. About 5 minutes later, they were being loud again. So I simply said, listen, you You guys need to quiet down. You're distracting me. This is a very important moment in my life. These players continue to antagonize me. They said, you're loud. You're a very loud guy, and I am a very loud guy. I'm also 80% deaf in one of my ears. I don't yell for fun. I yell because I can't hear myself. Anyways, there's a little back and forth, and I go, I'm allowed to be loud. I'm playing in this fucking tournament. You're on the rail. Keep yourself quiet. If you look at the rules of the WSOP, I've been the guy that's antagonizing someone from the rail, okay? I know the rules. If you antagonize someone from the rail, they give you one warning and they kick you out. So I finally sit back down. I say, okay, that's the end of it. Nope. Matt Affleck's girlfriend continues to try and antagonize me. She's making comments about me. I say, you know what, Jason, have these fucking people removed. And I didn't use the F word, excuse me. I said, have these people removed. You know what he said to me? He said, they did nothing wrong. You need to sit down in your seat and deal with it. I'm not kicking anyone out. At this point, I'm freaking appalled. I stand up, I start giving a speech about it. I say, if I was freaking A. High Roller or Daniel fucking Negreanu or whoever the hell else, there's no way you'd be treating me like this. There's no way that I should have to listen to this woman speak to me while I'm trying to play hands. She continues to pop jokes to her friends. After some point, I say to her, stop speaking to me. Do not speak to me. The floor, he goes on his own personal rampage. He says, you sit down. I'm calling security on you. He flanks me with 2 security guards. I'm sitting there in this should be a joyous moment in my life. I was so happy that whole day. Anyone can attest to that. My tweets, my performance, the way I was acting the whole day. I was the happiest I'd ever been. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there surrounded by 2 security guards just so this woman can continue to antagonize me. She's on the rails, continuing to make comments. I say to security, I go, are you going to stop her? They do nothing. I get up, I say, please be quiet. They tell me to sit down in my fucking chair. While I'm playing for $1 million, I'm seething with rage. I go on break. This guy has the nerve, when a person in the crowd stuck up for me and said, hey, Jason, why don't you do your job? He said, I would, but that guy's an asshole. He said that within earshot of my own friends. My friends heard this from him. As the day progresses, people keep doubling up, whatever, my stack dwindles, but we do make the final table. With 9 left, I'm fucking happy, but I'm also disgusted by how horribly I've been treated. I've never felt so sad in my life. You can look at a picture of me and I look like miserable, like all the fucking happiness has been drained from me. At the end of the day, I go up to Jason, I go, Jason, are you going to call me an asshole to my face? Like a man, I said one-on-one, I didn't say it in front of people. I said, Jason, are you going to call me an asshole to my face? He says to me, I didn't say that about you, you're a liar. If you speak to me again, I'll put a penalty on you for the final table. And mind you, this is when play was already done for the day. And he's threatening to give me a penalty just for speaking to him. And he's the only floor man that there is. How is that fair? How is that equitable? I find out some more things about this guy later on, that he was texting with people and showing the other players at the final table his cell phone, which was getting text messages from I don't know who. But basically, he was in major violation of gaming board regulations, and he took a huge abuse of power just to fuck with me, basically, because I'm loud and I speak out and I don't take people's shit. And the last few days have been filled with multiple emotions. I've been angry, I've been sad, I've been happy, because I have 80 grand in my fucking pocket and I'm in Vegas and I don't have to work. But it's just, I can't play there anymore. Not with the way that I was treated. It was truly disgusting. I don't even think that my description was good enough to really explain how awful it was and how awful I was treated.
Well, it's crazy when you talk about it because the juxtaposition seems incredible. I mean, here you are, you've navigated a field thousands and thousands strong. You're going for $1 million. You're at the final table. Well, I guess there's 10 left, but you're at the biggest moment of your poker life, and you're distracted by the crowd. It seems like the crowd turned on you, and what you're saying is that the floor staff played favorites in this case.
It's preposterous. Even if I'm the worst guy in the room, no fucking spectator should be allowed to say a single word to me. This is rules that they've had for nightly events. You know, I've been on the rail before. I get drunk, I get a little loud. They tell me, please be quiet. And I respect that. I say, I apologize. If I do something again, they kick you out. That's how it works. This isn't rocket science. This guy was just a freaking piece of shit. And when it comes down to the WSOP, they don't even have anyone above him running the show, and it's a complete disrespect to all their customers. I asked to speak to Polanski. I asked to speak to Ethel. This floor man laughed in my face. He goes, do you think Polanski's here for this? Do you think Jack Ethel's here for this? Like, we're just a bunch of freaking pieces of shit there to pay them rent. Like, our tournament doesn't even freaking matter. Disturbing stuff. And I won't play there anymore.
Well, it seems strange to me because it is one of their marquee events, the Colossus. I mean, they promoted heavily. You're telling me, I mean, we know it wasn't on the feature table. It was last year for free.
They put Daniel on the feature table.
Yeah, and you're telling me that the space they allotted was quite small. There wasn't that much room for fans, so I guess they were close in on the action.
The final table, there was no introduction. There was no, like, congratulations, you made it. You made it through 19,000 people. It was sit the fuck down and play. And there was 20 seats available for 9 players rail, just so Daniel could film his freaking TV show. We had no seating. Everyone flew their people out. They had all their people there, and no one even had a place to sit. It was disturbing, man.
And from my experience with respect to tournament directors, it always seems to be the case that if you ask for a second opinion, they gather 3 or 4 of them deep.
They sent some woman from public relations, human relations. I don't know who she was. She wasn't anybody, though. Let me tell you that much. And she came down. She got Jason's side of the story. She didn't ask me shit. And she said, basically, you have to deal with this, or we're gonna take you out. They were basically like, you have to sit there and play, or security's gonna escort you out of the building. And I wasn't even that jacked up. All I was saying was, please quiet this woman down. I didn't swear. I didn't call anybody any names. I didn't make a fight. I just sat there and played because I knew the moment. I wasn't going to let someone tilt me in that moment. But given the situation, I can't imagine that I played my A game. Not even close. With 2 security guards flanking me and this guy making it about him and turning everyone against me. Playing favorites with the field, basically. Fucking with my life and my equity. In a moment that I've been waiting 10 years for.
And the one thing also that sticks out to me is the fact that he was showing tweets to other players at the table. That doesn't seem right.
It may not have been tweets. I don't know what he was showing them. But whatever it was, it's against the rules. That is just horrible for the ethics of the game. He could have been showing them, oh, fuck with this guy. I have no idea. He could have been like, oh, you know, let's tilt this guy out some more. I have no idea what he was showing on those texts. But whatever it was, he broke the rules, and he should pay for that.
You're obviously very upset, obviously a big moment for you. You feel like it was wasted, you're disturbed. You went to Twitter, you went to Facebook, you posted a link to your Facebook page on Twitter, quote, "Why I'm quitting the WSOP from my heart. Luke posted about it, not Slay America. Thanks to anyone who reads." And man, I read it. There was a lot of passion in there. Why the need to put it out there for all to see? I mean, this is something very important to your heart, right?
Yes, because it's not about me. It's about every player that plays at the WSOP every year and doesn't get a fair shake. And I've been that player in the past, not to this extent, but you show up and they treat you like a number if you're not big time. If you're big time, they bow at your fucking feet. It's not about me. I already knew the WSOP was scum. It doesn't matter, but it never come and bit me in the ass like that before. You know what I mean? And the reason I made that post is because I feel strongly that I can't play there. I mean, sure, there's a damn good possibility I'll cave and I'll play the main event. But I will not play another event this summer under any circumstances. Even if they fire that guy. Even if they beg me to come back. There's no shot of playing. And it's not about me. It's about all the other players that were disrespected in that event. Because everyone that was at that final table agrees with me that the World Series treated us like shit. But everyone's too scared to speak out because they think they'll be blackballed. And they think they'll go in there and some floor will fuck with them like they fucked with me.
Well, you've already talked about it, but let me quote from your post. Again, a very passionate post on Twitter and Facebook. You write, "My enjoyment of the moment and my equity was ripped away in the biggest spot of my life. WSOP had 20 seats for the fans of people looking to watch their friends play for $1 million because they had the main stage occupied to film a TV show for more profits. And World Series treats all players, not only me, like shit unless you have a big name or were a big deal back in 2005.
This speaks for itself. I agree, and every word is, I'll double down on it, I'm freaking so much better when I got my full voice.
Hey, I've heard you on Live at the Bike do plenty of commentary. You do quite well. Listen, I got to ask you, Matt Affleck, another big name poker player, was at this final table. The reason I bring him up because you mentioned his girlfriend was involved. He went through that situation back in 2010 where he had his aces cracked to Jonathan Duhamel in the main event, and he left the room in tears. I find it interesting that he's on the other end in a situation where you might have been in tears.
Well, I felt like crying, but I'm not going to cry like a little bitch on TV. I'm not like, I'm a man. I stand on my feet. But anyways, I'm not going to go there. What I'll say is, the man had 6 outs. It's not that bad a beat. But anyways, what I'll say is, Matt Affleck was a piece of shit. I tried to have fun with him at the table. He looked at me with his emotionless puppy dog face. And his stupid-ass girlfriend, I'll not comment on her behavior, demeanor, or looks because, quite frankly, it's immature. But, hey, I'm an immature guy. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm mature. So fuck her. But the two of them have a history of this. My friend was on a World Series final 2 tables with them, and apparently she would just fist pump like Tiger Woods whenever Matt would win a hand, right in the face of the opponents. I think it's a strategy of theirs, honestly, at this point. There's no two ways about it. And even after all of that, as they were walking out, and he pay jumped me after sucking out multiple times on the bubble just to make the final table. I said to the man, good game, sir. And he walked right past me like I was a piece of shit after his girlfriend did what she did to me and his stupid-ass freaking rail. I'll never respect that guy. And if he sees me, he should look the other way because I go hard.
Okay, well, listen, disappointed, obviously, but it is an incredible feat.
I'm thrilled with the result. I needed this money. I have money now, and I'm happy as hell. I'm disappointed with the WSOP. I'm thrilled that I got 9th in the Colossus. I folded to the money with 4 big blinds on my 5th bullet. I was happy to be stuck 1,700. I was like, hey, I'm only down 1,700. This is great. And then I won 20 all-ins in a row. I'm thrilled with the poker stuff. I'm mad because I can't help but think that if that floor hadn't fucked with me, things would have gone differently. Butterfly effect, whatever you want to call it. But things may have gone differently. And I might have played 2 hands differently if I hadn't been so freaking rattled by the whole situation. You try playing with that much pressure, getting embarrassed and abused in front of everyone. Embarrassing to have 2 security guards standing next to you while you're playing and you did nothing wrong. It's just absurd. I've never been abused like that in a public setting. If I wasn't playing poker, I would have punched that man in the face. And I haven't punched a person in 14 years.
Wow. What do you make of the WSOP going to Poker Go and the $99 a year subscription for these final tables?
Honestly, the Poker Go, I think it's good. I really do. I enjoy watching it. It's a good product. I think they could choose players a little better, like for the analysis, because let's face it, Jeff Gross. I mean, I'm not going to talk shit about Jeff Gross. He's a nice guy, but let's face it, he's not much of a player. But that's an whole other issue. Anyways, I think Poker Go is fine. I don't think they're necessarily in tune with the modern player, but I think that what they're doing is a good idea. It's good to have a great product. It's good to have high definition streaming at the final tables. And if people have to pay, they have to pay. But this idea that all the final table streams shouldn't be free is bad for the game. And this idea that, you have to pay to watch, it rubs people the wrong way. Like, if they want to have their own special final tables, that's fine. But the whole main event, you have to pay to watch? That's not good for the game. That's good for these people's fucking pockets.
And you play a lot
Everyone's just too scared to speak out because they don't want any trouble. I'm very disappointed in a lot of my people who I've had their back when controversies go on, and they're nowhere to be found right now to support me. Just because I'm a little crazy, I'm a little different, I tweet some crazy shit because I'm a writer, and they think they know me. But my integrity, you'll never question it because I know who I am.
Can you talk about the hearing loss a bit and what role that played in all this? I know people are saying that you're quite loud.
Yes. Well, my right ear, which is my good ear, was facing these assholes. Meanwhile, my left ear was facing the table. So you can imagine, noise in my right ear, which is 100%, would really affect my abilities to pay attention on the task at hand. And I forgot one of the great lines from Mr. Jason when he told me, if they're bothering you, put your headphones on. That's what he said to me when I asked him to have these people removed. He said, put your headphones on. I can't just put my headphones on or I won't be able to hear a freaking thing.
You also tweeted out there near the end of your rant that you're going to play some cash at a casino that respects its players. What casino did you end up at?
Well, I went to the Wynn. That's where I like to play the most, and second most is the Venetian. They're two great establishments. They run a good tournament. I'm going to the Venetian to play a $600 today because I'm not giving the WSOP business. This is the best event of the year, is the Millionaire Maker, and I'm skipping it because I feel that strongly about my position.
What about the state of the Rio? A lot of players talking about the washrooms and the state of them.
It's a fucking dump. They never fix anything. They never modernize anything. They rarely clean up the toilets and the bathrooms. It's a sad state of affairs over there, let me tell you. And I like the Rio. I like staying at the Rio because I'm used to being there. But let's face it, it's pretty disgusting.
So no more WSOP this summer. You may cave eventually and play the main event. Anything that can be done besides taking a stance like you're taking?
I have no idea, but I'm standing up for what's right, and it feels good. I feel like I have a purpose in life to expose these people for the abuse that was put on me and the way they disrespect the players year after year. My EV is absurd in a tournament like that. I could sell action at an absurd markup and people would buy it in a heartbeat. But I'm skipping that because it's not about me. It's about all the players and it's about what's right.
Well, listen, lastly, man, I follow you on Twitter. You've got an epic Twitter game. Let's end this with some levity. How would you describe your Twitter game?
I mean, my Twitter game is a creative outlet for the thoughts in my head. I'm a writer first. Before poker, I was a writer. Twitter lets me make my own character. Like, if you follow Slay America, it doesn't mean you know Luke Vrabel. You know what I mean? It's more like performance art for me. And, like, I'm inspired by a lot of people when I did my writing. But the most important thing is truth for me. To speak from the heart and to speak what I feel. And Twitter allows me to do that. Because that's my favorite thing in the world is communicating with people. I love to be around people. I love to hear their perspectives. And Twitter lets me have people hang on my every word. And I know they don't hang on my every word literally. But that's the way it feels when you get attention from people and you get to have them agree or think you're funny or think that you're smart or think that the things that you're saying have value. And that's why I love my Twitter.
Well, again, it's at Slay America on Twitter. He's got an epic Twitter game, folks. You got to check him out. Lastly, before we let you go, and again, we appreciate your time today. I know you're reaching out to all the poker podcasts. You're going to be on Live at the Bike Monday night, I believe. Tell us about what you're doing in your attempts to get this word out, how upset you are, and what needs to be done with your message.
Well, I think I've done about all I can do. I've tried to contact Doug Polk, whoever else, and they don't want to speak out against WSOP on behalf of some raving lunatic. Let's face it. And you know what? That's fine. You get your money hand over fist, bro. I don't give a fuck. The only thing I'm going to do now is go play poker. I'm going to go play poker and enjoy my summer and enjoy the money I have in my pocket. There's nothing else I can really do. I've posted about it. I've spoken about it. I've tweeted about it. And we'll see what happens. I have a meeting with Caesars. We'll see what happens, you know? I'll be updating everyone. You can believe that. I have important people in my corner, and I feel like I'm going to be vindicated when all is said and done.
Well, we wish you luck, man. Again, it's an amazing feat. It's too bad it turned out the way it did. 80 grand in your pocket. Check him out on Twitter for all the updates. At Slay America. He is the Sunday Million champ just a few days ago. Finished 9th place. Final tabled. The Colossus, man. Luke Vrabel, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I wish I had my full voice, and I'm sorry I sound like very raspy. I've been through a lot this week.
When you get your voice back, you're welcome back on anytime, my man.
I appreciate that. Have a good one.